Thank you, Denise. Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock, and it is Monday, January 13th. We're here at the Town Hall, 108 Main Street, Falls Village, in person and on Zoom. Calling the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. The agenda, I do have some additions to the agenda this evening. And it would be on Selectmen's report. 7E, number 3 will be an update from the Rec Commission.
7E.
7E, number 3.
Update. Okay. Do you need a motion for that?
I'm going to
Do it all.
do all of them at once, if you don't mind. And Chris will do all the agenda items and vote on them together. Okay. 7L will be the ARPA fund, the remaining funds that we committed. Seven M, as in Mary, will be letter to boards and commissions, departments, read the upcoming budget. Seven N, as in Nora, the transfer station report, which I both have a copy of. Seven O, discussion of direct deposit. The treasurer's here, so I'll probably have her expand a little bit on it. 7P is in Peter, will be our receipt of the peace candle on 12/21 from Boy Scout Troop number 22. Give you a little bit of a background about that. 7Q will be the water testing, the daycare.
Does that need to fall under that, or should it just fall under the old business?
I think we'll put it under, so the Selectmen report, it'll give us a chance to discuss it. And that is, and 7R is lighting at 107 Main. And over here. I'll take a motion to add these items to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comments? 2 minutes? Any public comment?
I have a question. Would the town permit a small temporary ice skating spot for the kids on the green? And if so, could you get a rider for like a 2-month session? Nothing to do with Tim putting it up or taking it down. It would just be like some folks that would do that. So my question is, would we have permission? Would anybody have permission to do that? If so, would there would obviously be a cost of a rider for insurance for 2 months?
Let me check, Dusty, with our insurance people, check with Kerma. I know that, and we've been, I'm only chuckling here to myself. We worked with Kerma regarding sleigh riding over at the town farm. And how much snow have we had? So.
Right, but we can
Right.
temporary ice skating rink.
Right, so let me.
It already has lighting, it already has benches. I think it'd be cool for the parents to sit at the inn and have a cocktail and watch their kids bump around.
Yeah, if there's the room, and
There's no cost to the town,
Right.
just an insurance ride.
Yeah, let me check tomorrow morning. I'll check
How
it.
much space are you thinking?
I measured it off to be 50 by 20.
Mhm.
That's the flat area from the monument towards Jacobs.
Yeah,
That area is pretty damn flat. It was,
is some of that on the inn property though?
well, you'd have to ask permission if you want to go on their property, but I'm sure the town. It's been so analyzed lately, I'm sure there's, where the line is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we can stay 10 feet away from the line, so to speak.
Okay, Let me check with Kermit tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
awesome.
give a call and see. It's something that hasn't been brought forth.
It's my way of trying to see if there's a community response to a simple little ice skating thing. Which may be able to lead us to decommissioning the old rec center and making that some kind of a place. If there's interest for an ice skating thing or a little basketball, whatever. Or it could just go dormant just to take care of that issue.
Well, thank you.
Something I was thinking about.
Thank you. You know, the one down in Goshen there by the Goshen School, Goshen Town Hall.
I got
Goshen
friends that
Library.
go there all the time.
Yeah, I was looking at it the other day.
Have it in the parking lot over at the
Yeah.
daycare.
So just try to bring it back, have a small temporary thing, it's not gonna cost anything really. And just put it up there and see what comes in.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the lighting is there, the benches are there. I think it'd be kind of fun to bring the community down to it.
let me check and see what we have to do.
And
We have to do
maybe
anything.
long term, that'll lead us to something else.
No. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone on Zoom? Denise?
No, I do that. I love that idea. Canaan does it, right? They.
Pavilion.
They go to the pavilion. Goes to the- So there's gotta be a way. Thank you, Dustin.
Something temporary, easily pick up, take down. Couple of months, but it probably.
Jim
be at
March
the end-
used to do the one at
The end of
the.
this month, and it would be like February, maybe the first week of March, it'd be done.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let me check with Kermit tomorrow.
Sounds cool, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the time.
Okay. Any other public comment? Going once, going twice, going three times. Okay, thank you. Approval of the pending minutes that we have, let's take them one at a time. December 9th, 2024, regular meeting minutes. Any,
Move to approve them.
Second.
all in favor? Aye, opposed, none. And the minutes from December 31st, 2024. Special meeting minutes,
Move to approve those as well.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, none. All right, thank you. Treasurer and tax collectors report. I'll make a motion to receive the October 24 and November 24 treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed. Okay. The December 24th, it's gonna be tough because here we are, January 25. So if I say 25 instead of 24, 24 instead of 25, but the December 24th tax collector's report. Motion to receive.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Communications. These just came in today. I just received something from Connecticut DOT. This letter serves as advance notification to the town of Canaan that the Department of Transportation will be performing various tree trimming and removal work within the state's right of way in accordance with Connecticut General Statute, specifically section 13B-24, subsections A and B, which provides that the Transportation Commissioner shall have jurisdiction over and general responsibility of the state highway system with all the powers and duties established under Title 13A, 13B, and as otherwise provided by law. Get down to the nuts and bolts of it. The tree trimming and or removal will be conducted on Route 63 from Hagaman Sheehan Road north to the Route 7 junction in Falls Village. Work is scheduled to begin in March. If we have any concerns, so Tim, I'll leave you with a copy of this letter because you'll probably get the call before I will regarding any tree removal. And
Did they give a duration?
it just said it would begin in March.
Isn't the area where two cars hit a tree that came down?
What?
Two cars hit a tree that came down? Is that the area?
No, they're gonna be working all up and down.
Yes.
The entire,
Probably five
Yeah, but
minutes.
a little-
Yeah.
63 up by
yeah. Well, someone tried to take it down ahead of time, obviously.
Well, it sounds like they're continuing what they previously did last year with the big green machines.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the way up to 63. Hagaman Sheehan Road is where they stopped.
Yeah.
And then the second one that we received, for the daycare center, lead and copper rule revisions, initial service line inventory. If you remember, a couple months ago, we talked about having Water Solutions do a study over there for lead and copper, and all the paperwork has been submitted, so we're okay with the statements regarding that. Okay, Selectmen's report. I don't have any oral communications, I should say. Selectmen's report, the TRIPS grant application, we're working on that, still preparing it for submission. Another grant came up, which is the 2025 Neglected Cemetery Account Grant Program. Right now, we're having our sexton, Tracy Wilson, working on that. That is due early February. But what that does is it allows up to $5,000 per municipality to work on the town cemeteries. So we'll be looking at doing some work on those town cemeteries. And again, they've been neglected for some time, so a lot of them, so.
So Tim takes care of them pretty well.
Yeah, but you look at some of the headstones falling over and things like that, and that's where it's gonna come in handy where something,
That's for?
it's for anything you need to do,
Oh,
so. For $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, back on 12/18, and we have some people here who participated in this. And I thought it went well. A number of people thought it went well. The name the snowplow events. It's kind of an idea that we had here after I heard about it from a friend of mine in Vermont. And seeing we only had 4 snowplows, it seemed like a really easy and fun thing to do for the kindergartners. So it was a cooperative effort between our DPW and Lee H. Kellogg School. And you'll see the snowplows all marked for this year. And the 4 names that they came up with: the Snowbreaker, Blizzard Buster, Snowy the Snowplow, and the Ice Demolisher. And DPW has already gotten strips that go over the top of the windshield, so the kids can actually identify those trucks. So again, a cute little thing here. They can say, wow, Snowy the Snowplow does my road, and I know the driver of Snowy the Snowplow or the Snowbreaker. So again, just a cute little thing. And I think what that does is it actually draws the children in to get a little bit involved in our town at a very early age by knowing the snowplows and the folks who keep the roads safe. So
And then name your pickup.
Hold on,
they
did not.
we don't want to name the pickup.
Not the same day.
Rusty the parts fetcher.
Okay, on to item D, 107 Main Street property lease. The update is that we have received a letter from Liz Ives, who is looking to put the cafe in it. And we are moving forward, checking out a few things relative to things that can be installed there. And we actually have our attorney drawing up the lease as we speak. So we need to look, and I'm probably going to get together with us all later in the week and pull out our calendars, because we have a number of meetings that we want to look. So we'll call a meeting to set all those meeting dates, because we have infrastructure coming up and a couple other meetings. So I want to, for our town hearing regarding 107, I want to have it after the P&Z meeting and make sure that we in fact have our lease all ready to go at the time. So tomorrow, after I find out a little bit more from our attorney and from the fire marshal, then I'll have a better handle on the date. I had put in here set date for town hearing, but I think we're just going to have to let that table that. The recreation committee. Okay, the holiday extravaganza went fabulous. The Christmas tree lighting, the lights that we had put up by the chatterers.
Holiday chat.
Holiday chatterers. We had, of course, Garland and BOS. Thank you, Mrs. Barger, Garland and BOS on the, and thank you, Tim, and the town group for putting those all up. Now, in another week, we'll be taking them all down. But again, the town looked great for the opening of, or the lighting of the tree, I should say. The New Year countdown with done in concert with the library went very, very well, I understand. From Emily Peterson. And what we added, number 3, to the Recreation Committee is just a note from Ted Moy. And it's good morning, Selectmen. Just wanted to offer a quick update. During the recreation meeting held last evening, they did not nominate a new chair. As a result, the team confirmed the best plan to go forward would have the interim chair be the rec director, Emily Peterson, which she accepted. The primary point of contact, town officials and the general public to the rec commission will be addressed to Emily at this point in time. The secondary point of contact will be decided on a program by program basis. And rec commission meeting agendas will be created and submitted by Emily Peterson, and the meetings will also be conducted by Emily. A commissioner may step in for some of these duties as needed. And again, we accept Ted Moy's stepping down from the chairmanship, but still being with the commission with some lament. Well, he did a great job there as the chair. Vision Zero, the automatic traffic speed enforcement device. Tim and I will be meeting with the company on via Zoom on Thursday from 10 to 11:30 to talk about it. We've received the equipment. There is some question as to where we want to set it up to get the best bang for our buck, so to speak. But what this is not handing out any tickets at this time, merely is gathering information. So we plan to have it in several places. I can tell you that this morning, between 7:05 and 7:30, there were 52 cars going across from Route 63 to Route 7 on Johnson Road. Most of them not obeying the posted speed limit of 35. So
Don't we have a surplus of troopers? I mean, can we have?
Really?
really,
Well,
Line them up every year?
no, you're,
Oh,
no.
oh,
I'm not kidding.
Well,
staffing is tremendously low across the state.
So these electric components are gonna send out tickets?
No,
You said eventually.
they could. What we're going to do, Dusty, is we're going to gather a great deal of information.
Or running a hole.
Not if they're on poles.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but we'll let that go. But we will be meeting, and then we'll get them set up. And we want to do them in several places.
And it's great to have a reminder, because when I go down the Warren Turnpike all the time, it's a great reminder, and you're right, very few go the speed limit
Mhm.
anywhere.
Right.
It doesn't matter what road they're on.
Well, Dusty, to be quite honest with you, I'll tell you my spin on everything. When I used to be in my old job way back when, and people said, "Give me a warning," I said that black and white sign that says speed limit 55 was your warning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They don't get their license at Kmart.
The 7G capital plan, Ginger Betty and I met with the department heads on December 18th. I think it was a good meeting. We are going to get together and set a date for meeting with all the commission chairs and other committees. Probably the 21st, 22nd, or 23rd. It will be in the evening because most of the commission and committee folks, they work that during the day. So we'll get that meeting together. 8, planning and zoning. I'll start with, we received a letter from Fred Laser. Dear Dave, Chris, and Judy, due to my term as P&Z Commissioner being completed in December, I would like to request that I not be reappointed for an additional term. He has stepped down already as the chairman. I appreciated the opportunity to serve the town of Falls Village over the many years and to be part of a group of exceptionally dedicated and productive fellow commissioners. Respectfully submitted, Fred Laser. I prepared a letter that I would like all the selectmen to sign tonight, and that we will forward to Fred. Dear Fred, we, the Board of Selectmen representing the town of Canaan, thank you for your dedicated service to our community through your service on the Planning and Zoning Commission, both as a member and your leadership as its chairman. While we all understand the reasons for your resignation, we lament that we are losing your voice on this critical commission, which you have served so well. While we are losing your services on the commission, we hope that from time to time we can call upon your institutional knowledge based on your years of experience in planning and zoning. Again, we appreciate everything that you have done for the town of Canaan and express our gratitude for your service. Our best wishes to you and your family. So I would ask the other selectmen, I'm going to pen my name to it.
He's been on that commission for over 30 years.
Yeah, long time.
Yes.
Everybody, thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
Okay. So we'll send that out tomorrow. Further on the planning and zoning. Okay, I received a letter from Greg Marlowe, who is now the chairman. First Selectman Barger, please consider this proposed action at your next regularly scheduled meeting. If, as expected, you regretfully accept the resignation of Fred Laser, which we have, whose term ends on 12/31/24 from the commission, we ask you to consider that his regular position be filled by appointing alternate Eileen Kinsella for the whole 5-year term ending 12/31/29. We also ask for you to consider renewing the appointment of Steve Koshland as a regular member whose term expires on 12/31/24 for a full new 5-year term. The affirmative that would leave our commission one person short for the alternate. Therefore, we ask for you to consider making the appointment of our vetted candidate for this position, Tim Metzger, to be our alternate member in order to fully fill our open position. These recommendations will meet the political and party affiliation minimum maximum representation as required. Thank you for your consideration, Greg Marlowe, Planning and Zoning Chair, and we will look at that under new business. Judy, I'm going to let you give a little brief synopsis about meeting with the village gardeners on the 9th.
Sure, we met with Paige Dickey and Deb Munson and Roxanne Whitaker and Dave, Tom Scott, Tim, discussing the roses specifically because as you can see when you go by, they've become quite neglected and look a little unsightly. So Tom Scott suggested that we remove all the roses and replant grass there. Since people are walking through there as it is, it probably would be the most logical solution. So Kim was in agreement to that. So we're going to be doing that. And we have a Boy Scout, I forgot his name.
It will. You would do this to me. From the fire department. Oh,
Yes. Yes,
thank you.
it's going for his Eagle Scout, correct?
Yes.
And he will probably be the one that's helping dig up, along with probably some other Boy Scouts digging up the roses. And we're gonna have a special day where that's taking place, and if residents want to take roses, they're more than welcome to come and get some. And we discussed a little bit out here on what to do with the native flowers. My concern is that they're so high, it's really hard to see to back out sometimes. The vision is being blocked by them. So Tim's gonna be cutting down some of the areas where it's hindering the eyesight and for the when they're at their height for the winter. I think that's what they agreed to do. And we asked for more color, so they're supposed to be putting more color in there. And we talked about a lot more color by doing a adopt a pot program where we'll have some flower pots, probably good sized flowers. And residents or businesses can adopt a pot to help pay for the cost of implementing those. And then we're gonna have to find volunteers to come and help deadhead and water. The village gardeners do not do maintenance. And we can't expect the town crew to be doing that. So we're gonna be looking for volunteers for that. So after I left, I don't know what happened.
Well, just hash that around and Tim went out and looked at everything. So. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to set something up, for a workshop. For us, again, finalized before we go to a town meeting, hopefully in early to mid-February, for us to look at our all our ordinances.
Yeah.
And I would like to propose the 21st
Of this month,
of this month.
I can do that.
Time,
You know what? Why don't we make it for 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Would that work for everyone?
yeah,
Sure.
Because I think we're going to be tied up more than 1 hour. So why don't we look at that, and I will get that out tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yes, but it will be a workshop for us to go over those ordinances. I know that you have looked over them. I've looked over them, but we'll get them rolling.
Are we gonna just do ordinances?
We can also look at some of our policies, but I think the ordinances will certainly
Be the
take,
top.
yeah, it'll be the bunch of it. And then again at 1 o'clock. Okay, again, just 7K, holiday lighting and decorations in town, again. And still all those who donated their time, donated the lights, donated the garland, donated the bows. And thanks to the town crew for getting those things up on the pole, and thanks to the chatterers.
Holiday chatter.
Had a holiday chatter, for
Okay.
getting the lights up. Sorry. Okay, all right, let's move on to 7L. The ARPA fund had a total of $3,631.33 left in it remaining. After our meeting, we decided unanimously for it to go to infrastructure. In particular, it's going into the fund that we had already set up through ARPA, the ARPA funds for 35 Railroad Street, to finish what we need to do there. 7M, we sent out our letter to all the boards and commissions. And we are looking for having all the information back that we need from all the departments and commissions by February 20th, 2025. So then after that, we will start putting things together and we'll start in earnest in working on the budget. 7N is Pete Rusis's report on waste recycling, income, expenses. I can tell you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I have a meeting again with Todd regarding Mira and the closing of the site in Hartford. What I learned tomorrow, I will bring back to you.
So this was just one quarter, right? For the months of
October, November, December, they're closed out. 24.
total expenses were $32,800.
$22.38. Somebody flat. 7. Oh. I can tell you that when I first walked in here about 7 years ago, I went to our treasurer, Linda Paviol, and I said, hey, how come we don't have direct deposit? And I was directed that, well, we had no vehicle by which to do it. It wasn't as easy to do it as I thought. And it might have been a little bit less cost effective to actually write the checks. Well, we're in a brand new era. Okay. And it has become, at least what I think, more palatable to do direct deposit of paychecks. I'm just going to defer to you, Michelle, for a moment, just to give something brief on that.
So National Iron Bank has offered to do direct deposit. It would be something that I would go on and enter the amounts, and it would only be $25 a month to do. There's some startup costs around $50 to start it up, and I think it would save us money in checks in the end, actually.
Well, now that checks cost more than they
Yeah,
are.
I mean, I just got checks at the tune of like $300. So that's, yeah, yeah, I mean, I get a ton, so. And envelopes and all of that, so obviously each employee would have the option to do direct deposit or receive a paycheck. That's totally up to them. But National Iron isn't actually going to charge us, it's the ACH fee, so they won't do it for a company.
That'll at least get us into the 20th century.
Yeah,
It will.
exactly.
And I think there's a lot of employees who would be
Yeah.
very happy with direct deposit.
Direct deposit. That doesn't require a quote on our part. This is just merely information. That really falls under your purview. And I know that you'll be speaking, and I will also, to the Board of Finance regarding it, because it would require you having more money put into your budget. But I think it's money well spent. And it does, it at least brings us into the 20th century. So, okay. 7P, just as an aside, I kind of got called at the last minute regarding this, actually about 3 days before it happened. We are the recipients of the Peace Candle, our particular town this year. And just to give you a little background on Peace Candle, let's hope this makes a full village for them, because it made it before with Sandy Roads. But the Peace Light, it's actually a sacred flame, they call it, and this Boy Scout troop number 22 did this. Actually, what happened is about from out a light from the eternal flame that is at the grotto in Bethlehem, and it was brought to the United States and distributed among Boy Scout troops. And what the Boy Scouts did was they presented them to different entities within their troop area. I thought this was a fabulous thing. They did not go this year to Bethlehem to get it because of what's going on in the Middle East. So we fortunately had the light still here in the United States, and it was spread out from there. Again, very, very nice ceremony held by the Boy Scouts. There was actually 3 areas here in Falls Village that was recognized, one being the Falls Village Fire Department, Frank Gale accepted that. The ambulance, Sonia Gale accepted that. And I was the representative for the town government, so I still have it. I have it at home only because I can't leave a candle burning here in the town hall. So again, something was very nice to participate in. Actually, a lot of fun. It truly was. 7Q. That's the water testing.
Water testing, sure. So, we talked about it. We started to talk about it probably a couple of months ago, I think.
Mhm.
Matt Gagnon of Warren Water Company came in and talked to us, and he sent me his proposal. For monthly testing is less than what we're paying now. I think I'd like to see us act upon it, and there's no contract with the company now. And Matt's got some pretty good ideas, I think, as far as helping us out to save more money in the future.
Chris, I have a question.
Yeah, shoot,
Isn't Aquarian required to do that?
not acquiring
It's a safety.
a private well. It's a private well there.
Yeah, but they bought the town water company
So they did it as a courtesy, I think, after the
for a
sale
year,
for a year.
so in the contract.
I think it was in the contract for a year.
No, but I mean in forever.
It's not part of the water.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's not acquiring water, so. And I know they would have.
Private water over where?
Daycare
Daycare.
center.
Oh, okay, just the daycare. Gotcha.
Just the daycare.
The only thing I would ask is that we pull pull the paperwork for the other water company, and we just do a line by line just to see that we're comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. I think that we have done this, but we should do our due diligence before we actually do something. And I think this is a great idea to save us some money. But I just want to make sure we're still, we just got our report from the state today.
Sure.
So,
And when I talked to Matt earlier today about it, he brought that up, the lead testing,
mhm.
and there's some other tests that would be required by DPH that none of us really know about now, So, for instance, the PFAS is the next big one.
Yes, that's gonna be the next big one.
Right, so, that would, obviously that would be something extra.
Right.
Above and beyond what.
A lot of this, as you well know, with the lead testing that we had done over there, it wasn't just the testing of the water, but it was actually completing the paperwork to go into the state, because I can tell you that the paperwork was just voluminous, and when you really don't have a mastery of the subject, which I can honestly say I do not,
Mhm.
to have the water solution company do it was not only time savings, but made sense. So.
Matt's pretty accessible, so, I mean, if I don't know how you wanna move forward on it, but I don't wanna see it stop,
Mhm. I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't, when we do look at, on the 21st, why don't we take those two, contracts out, or I shouldn't say contracts, but what they're doing, and we compare them, we take some time to do that.
Okay.
And then we'll make a decision from there. But I think this is the right direction to go in.
Okay.
Thank you. 7R, lighting at 107. I have one bid in, I'm looking for a couple more. Two more bids from some local contractors. Before we make.
Lighting?
Lighting.
Finney is well versed up in East Canaan.
Mhm.
He has taken a bunch of courses and done a lot of stuff. He's done some nice stuff. The most recent one is the arch in Norfolk before the stone church.
Okay,
He just lit that up. It looks nice, so he might be another avenue.
okay. What we're looking for is dark sky lighting that we would only use when we have something going on over at 107.
Right, I mean, he just throwing his name out there.
Okay, thank you.
Did Brad Hidden,
He hasn't got back. to me.
because we were gonna ask him to come and finish the wiring up anyway.
Brad would be,
Reach out to him too.
that'd be a good choice, or Derek Deneen also.
Yeah,
Like to use someone local as we can.
Yeah,
So. Okay,
Ken Ever will call you right back.
all right. Old business 35 Railroad Street update. We are preparing our contract has been prepared for the sale. Economic development update. I'm going to give a copy of this to the other two selectmen. I have not committed to it yet. But there is North,
you gave me,
okay, Northwest Connecticut.
yeah,
All right. Economic Development Symposium. And it's January 29th from 2 to 8 in Winstead.
it looks like it's broken in half, though, so you
Yes, it
can
is.
come in at 6 instead of doing all day,
Right. So,
which might make more sense.
and we have some folks in the community who are interested, that need to know so that they can get their Eventbrite ticket. But there's going to be limited to so many people per town, and I need to get back with our representative down at COG to find out how many people we can send. So, the Affordable Housing Plan Task Force, I want to get that off the ground. We've been talking about it for quite some time. We just want to get together some objectives, and then we will look for residents who want to be involved, and we just need to decide how we're going to make it up, how many people, and so on. The Wi-Fi at the transfer station. We're working with the Connecticut Education Network to be our new vendor for internet. It's a more secure network. It'll be a better deal for the town. So now we have to find out from them if they'll be able to do it. So that's where we are with that. Cobble Road Culvert and Bridge update. Would you like to talk a little bit about what we received the other day? And Steve is here.
yeah, sure, so we met with Cardinal Engineering. This probably, we talked less about the Cobble Road culvert, but the other bridges in town, there's 6 of them identified in this repair assessments book that they put together for us.
We're not going to put this online, Denise. We'll have it available here.
Yeah, so I think the next move is gonna be to figure out, for the bridge committee in the town, to figure out how we wanna move forward. There's 6 bridges that are in various different states of disrepair. Some of them worse than others, most of them, I think all of them actually need parapet walls or safety, to be addressed for safety, so you don't drive off the bridge. But we have to come up with a plan how we're gonna move forward. We're gonna go one bridge at a time. Or if we wanna just get all 6 of them, bite the bullet and go for it. But that's a discussion that we're gonna have to have, I think.
And that's going to be 23rd, the meeting, or 22nd?
22nd is what I'd say, 23rd is the
It's the
planning and
Planning
PNC,
and zoning.
yeah,
we'll go on the 22nd, so we
Okay.
don't spill over.
So we'll discuss it then.
Cobble Road culvert and bridge, one depends on the other, I think. Certainly Cobble Road. Proper, maybe not so much the culvert, but that definitely needs to have work done before we can move forward on the big bridge.
Now, the bridge, we've already paid for an application fee. And that's covered 100% by the state,
All right.
excuse me, by the feds, but administered by the state. Okay. All right. New business, tax rebates and consideration of approval suspension list. We have nothing. The 107 Main Street Town Hearing, like I said, we'll look at a couple dates. We'll get together later this week. I'll call a quick meeting early next week and we'll look at the dates to have that, because I also want to look down the road once we get completed with the ordinances of having a town meeting.
Yes.
Review all those. Capital plan workshop, I had mentioned, Ginger, that we had already met. And we're looking for a date to meet all the commissioners and committee. 21st, 22nd, or 23rd, I think were the dates that you had sent me. You have any preference on any of those 3 dates? Because
21st would be the best.
20th is Martin Luther King's birthday, 21st will be Tuesday.
That's our workshop.
Yes,
So,
we'll have the workshop in the afternoon. It'll be you and I meeting with the commissioners, correct? So,
evening.
6 o'clock, 6 doable. All right, I'll get a notice out tomorrow. I think we'll be able to capture everyone else. We weren't able to get the first time around. Right. Okay. And we're not gonna zoom it. It's gonna be in person. Okay, for planning and zoning, that's our next, hold on a second, yes. C. Okay, D, planning and zoning. Consider appointment of alternate Eileen Kinsella to fill, actually, and to help me here, Steve, if I misrepresent this. I'm not trying to misrepresent it, but if I'm wrong, Eileen would be taking the term of,
Nobody, she would be, it's a brand new term, Fred's term is ending, so
she would take Fred's term, actually.
There's no term,
Okay.
it's over, so it's a fresh new term starting as of January, or whatever, December 31st, till December 29th.
Okay, the date I have from Greg would be like from the January 1st.
You know, yes.
Okay, until December 31st, 2029. I'll take a motion to appoint, yeah, we're good with the appointment. You would be appointing them.
No.
Oh, we appoint them. Planning and zoning, I apologize, planning and
Yeah.
zoning.
They recommended.
Recommended for appointment, yes. Thank you, Judy.
Yeah.
Consider appointment of alternate Eileen Kinsella, 5-year term ending December 31st, 2029, and actually starting January 1st.
That's right.
2025.
So moved.
Second, I'll second that. Would you like to recuse yourself?
I'll abstain.
Okay. All
Is
in
there, is
favor?
there discussion? Are you sure you want?
Listen, we got one other Kinsella in here. I'm not gonna start. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions?
Aye.
Thank you. Reappointment of Steve Koshland, 5-year term to December, well, starting again, January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2029. Well, I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. And the last one is the appointment of Tim Metzger as an alternate. Let me just see what he would be filling.
He'd be filling Eileen's alternate position, and I think that was.
August 11th, 29.
Yes, yeah. Wait a minute. 5-year terms. I'm sorry, what was that, Denise? Because I don't have.
August 11th, 2029.
Okay. So,
Can I make a motion to appoint Tim Metzger
I said,
as alternate. For the term,
through August 11th, 29. He's filling Eileen.
Yeah.
John.
And that's was Judy second that?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Again, town meeting, I want to get together with you, and once we get all those ordinances together, then we'll decide on it. Nothing from, the solar project committee.
no, I'm still waiting on, electric bill from the. Log, I emailed her
Oh,
again
yeah.
today,
I don't have.
yeah, I'm sure she's busy, so, bridge and infrastructure,
We
we
meet on the 22nd.
22nd.
Any other business to properly come before the board? I don't have anything else. Any public comments?
Erin Kinsella, I responded to you earlier, I haven't overheard discussion about direct deposit, and I would just like to request you guys look into actual payroll processing companies, because for $25 a week or a month, okay, so it may be less expensive going that route, but a payroll company will have the expertise, they'll take care of all of the withholding filing, all of the payments to the proper agencies, processing of W-2s. They'll even print and mail checks here. For those who don't elect indirect deposit, it's super simple. I mean, we use paychecks at Mass Landscaping. Very simple process to do. It takes away a ton of time from the person who's actually doing the payroll processing.
And liability.
And liability, yeah.
We did that with. It cost us 35 months.
Yeah.
Sure.
How much is in a month, do you know? For us, for 20 employees.
Yeah,
like
go by and
600. Yeah, it's volume driven, so,
ambulance.
yeah, sorry. But I don't know, I mean, we get some form of discount as a town municipality, you may also see further discount.
Okay.
And that's through paychecks. There are other payroll processing companies who may pay a different price, but just consider it. I think it's worth looking into it.
So noted. Thank you, Aaron.
Mhm.
Any other public comment? Anyone on the?
No.
Well, then I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you all.
Judy and Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're- Okay. Call the Board of Finance meeting for January 13th to order. As Amy said, Happy New Year. Yes. So we not need to see, no, we are. Good. But welcome Roxanne. And Carl are both on Zoom. Oh, she's on Zoom. She's on Zoom. She's here. Public comment. 2 minutes. Anybody? All right. Thank you. We do have some agenda amendments to the agenda that we're going to add. From Michelle's memo, so I'm gonna put those at least on the agenda now.
So do you need a motion?
I need a motion. I figure we have a 10A, B, and C, so. The first one would be for, we received the town clerk grant for 5,500. So
So we have to make a motion to put that on?
Yep.
So moved.
second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote. Second is a motion to add the registrar of voters has received a grant for early voting for 6,000. To add that to
So
the
moved.
second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And the third, we have a,
Are you gonna add a C? Okay.
I'm gonna add a C. Okay. The C is a new budget line. For bank fees to be underneath the treasurer. for a general fund allocation of $300.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion?
what is that?
Michelle has made a request to add, to increase, or actually add a new budget line for bank fees for $300, which we will discuss in regards to using direct deposit table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
That's fine.
Yes. Good. Good. We did this. Any other items to add to the agenda? We were to have the auditors.
On the wrong side. I got it. It's on the wrong side. Thank you.
We were to have the auditors, but they are still working on the audit. I have had, and with some conversations with Debbie, who is the point person. She's still has some back and forth issues with the Board of Ed that she's working on. And until that is settled, we're at a standstill.
So was an extension filed?
Yes.
And do we get, as a Board of Finance, do we get to see what that extension is? I mean, do we get to see what the,
The extent, I have the extension, there is
application.
no explanation.
just a date?
Yes.
There's no explanation, just a request. And how does that,
Michelle tried to-
what, I don't know what the process is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Does that come through us? The Board of Finance?
I'm gonna have Michelle explain it as the expert person.
It's just an online, I fill out through the physical health monitoring.
So you applied for it?
Yeah, goes through the state, the town applies for it, I just have to be the one, but it has to, Chris King also had to fill out the same form to say that they need the extension also, so then it was approved by the state after both things were sent.
And it's
And I sent Ginger the confirmation of it. We have to look,
It's a month,
yeah,
it's a month,
it's a
yeah,
month, so I can reapply for another month, depending on.
So you have to do it month to month?
Yeah.
Okay, depending on when you're ready, as well, so. Figure it out.
So do you need a vote to table it or no?
Table.
The discussion and possible
I think
actions? You don't, okay.
so. The communication I have is that, Michelle did send
Right.
an email, but it's all to all boards and commissions that they're prepping for the budget.
Right.
So,
Came from myself and Michelle.
Yep.
Sharp pencil.
sharp pencil to, and you're looking to have their proposed spending plans back by February 20th from each year. Any other communications anybody has? Alright. Secretary's report. Entertain a motion to accept the secretary's report.
So move.
It's approved, right? We approve.
Yes, sure, yes. A second,
Second.
Steve and
You second?
Steve.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Raise. Now, Michelle worked on some reports for us for the Board of Finance. We do have our expenditures today. Which you should have received. It was a small little summary, which he is handing out to all the areas now, so. Just sharing it with, making sure you all have that, don't know if there's any questions or.
I have a question. I was wondering, why we have zero expenses so far for the services of Denise.
I haven't sent a bill.
Do you know when you'll be sending the bill? Could it be before the 20th so that we can have some idea of for budgeting purposes?
Sure. Linda always said just send it in before June 30th.
Okay, well, just, it's helpful to kind of know for budgeting purposes, I think, yeah. I think everything else is pretty clear.
Any other question? Thank you for sharing, Michelle. And then we have the October 31st treasurer's report. Well, the only. We're gonna do it as a bulk, but I don't really have an updated October and November. Because there was which I will email out to everybody, but the budget was missing the appropriation of $5,000 that we had made. August, I think, was the date, August or September. For the legal fees. So it was missing that because this is handled a little different within the old system, so. She put it on the expense side, but had not put it on the appropriations. So that has been adjusted, so where if you're looking at the profit and loss budget, it is for the actual. It is actually a -5, the last at the bottom.
Right.
5,000, and that has been corrected. So with everyone's, we're going to receive it, but if everyone's okay, I was going to replace it with the updated. If you prefer not to, that's fine. It's up to, there's no other changes dollar wise. Any numbers?
Do you have to make a motion to?
We're just receiving. We're not.
We're just
not really-
receiving. Okay, you're right. Okay.
We're not
I didn't-
auditing it. We're not doing.
Okay. Yeah.
receiving Reports.
Got it.
Are you proposing we do October and November all in one?
I'm open to
Well, could we receive the reports as presented, understanding that there is an error in the missing
The original
appropriation? As, yeah, I'm fine with that.
You making this?
Yeah, I'm making motion.
In a second.
Any other discussion? We'll look at, I mean, if it's okay, we'll do October and November together. Everybody's okay? If not, we can.
I had a question.
Go for it.
Michelle's memo said there wasn't going to be a summary yet, a summary of who, so.
And we have that separately here,
Yeah.
right?
There was not, I actually worked with Michelle a little bit to try and come up with someone that was easy for all of us to understand.
Yeah.
If this works, she'll continue on with this. If it's not understandable or it's not going to, we can amend it.
Well, but as far as the P and L, the balance sheets, I have a motion, but if someone wants to amend it or second it, and then we can talk about this separately, or is this all together?
It's all part of it.
All part of it, got it.
Yeah.
And that's where this will also note that this is collected now.
Yes, it's accurate.
It's accurate on the summary.
On the general fund project.
We're taking in the correct, you haven't made the corrected one or you have done the corrected one?
On the P and L, she has.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I will actually share those tonight.
Okay, that'd be great. So my motion is just with regard to
The
P&L. But everything else is fine.
So, I think the summary is really good. It eliminates a lot of the confusion. I think that the former one had, we're always getting hung up about how to account for the general fund appropriation. That's basically taken, it was subtracted, back. Now it's basically taken out and the net amount tells us what we have free to spend. It also corrects, I think the discussion we had last week or last month about separating out unbudgeted revenue with creating a distortion, I think, and it's now I see included in it. So I think it's very good. And it's very straightforward, tells us where we are.
Plus it's for projections. Is that questions?
Yeah, you just need a second.
I did.
Oh, great.
Discussion.
So we're having discussion.
I have one question about the reports for both October and November. And it relates to, the tax collector's report and Board of Ed report. I can't square, the numbers are just different. In terms of what the Board of Ed said it spent and what the tax collector said we have collected on their respective reports and the corresponding numbers on the treasurer's report. And the difference is not de minimis, it's a little over $100,000. So I don't really know where that, I don't know which set of numbers is right, but if the tax collector and Board of Ed accounts are right, then it seems to me there's a hole someplace in the report that hasn't been filled in. It's about $112,000. So it's a question. I don't know which set of numbers is right. And depending on what the answer to that is, then the treasurer's report is right. But it could be off as well.
And it was actually a discussion I had with Michelle this week, specifically about this. In comparison, comparing the Board of Ed to our report that we're getting for the town, as well as the tax collector. She does do a reconciliation. I have requested that in for future months here, that we get the reconciliation to understand what it is and why there is a variance. They actually do reconcile. And there's deposits in transit. There's other factors that have to be taken into, and I agree with you. I literally laid all three of them out and couldn't tie. The Board of Ed, I've also asked her to look into that. She's going to meet with Cindy to figure that one out, because that should as well. Or there could be in transit, and I can understand in transit, but we gotta be able to.
You mean checks not cash, bills not paid, just.
Right, well, for example, the tax collector, she could have recorded 50,000. And it's not yet, hasn't made it into the bank yet for us to account for it. So
we'll get an explanation of that next meeting?
yes,
Okay.
So I'd like to follow and understand John's question too, because I've often struggled with the tax collector's report in the way that you described. But when we look at something for the end of November, and you look at something like this, is that where you're looking at it? I'd love to see where you were looking.
I looked at the profit and loss statement. I'll just pick,
Okay. For the education?
well, just what Michelle has listed here. So this is July through November, profit and loss budget versus actual. And if you go down to Board of Education payroll, you see this number,
Right.
1.672.
Right.
The number is about $85,000, if I remember, different on the Board of Education report.
Right, and then you look at this. And of course, this is through December, but even if you had looked at the November one, you're seeing that,
Well,
right?
on the tax collector number, I did look at November, because November didn't come with this batch of reports.
Right.
And the discrepancy that I found between Rebecca's numbers and where on the profit and loss we're showing how much tax we collected was about $28,000. So if you add the two together, you get about 112.
Right.
Let's answer to some of that you like. So with Rebecca and my balancing, should you do reconciliation every month? Rebecca transfer to me for November taxes doesn't come until December, so you don't see it in the November report, making a difference. Rebecca and I went over her reports to you today. And the reports that I get from Rebecca are different because they include the refunds in the total. The reports that the spreadsheet that she gives you doesn't include the refunds. It tells you what she's collected. So that does change the numbers a little bit. We are gonna try to work to figure out how to make it so it's a little clearer in balancing. I can send, as I talked to Jim today, I can send my reconciliation each month so that you guys see that I've reconciled to her numbers, if that makes it a little clearer.
It's nice to be able to see the numbers in the separate reports be the same and understand how they are.
As far as the Board of Ed difference, I, noticed the same thing, that there's a difference between my expenditures and what she's showing on her profit and loss. And that's why, I was throwing off my general fund projection in that old summary. That's why I wasn't sending a summary, so. I'm gonna work with Cindy to figure out, I do think, the same thing as the auditors are asking, I do think that there's some accounts payable from last fiscal year that are in this fiscal year in my totals, but not on per P and L, and I just have to get those numbers to back them back out. But until I can talk to Cindy and get those numbers, I didn't, there is a variance there. Yeah. And also, she sometimes voids checks, and I don't know right away until I send a list and say there's outstanding checks, and she'll be like, oh, those are all void, or those are, so there always is a little difference, because I'm taking her check register that she gives me, and the next month she might void it, but I don't have that. So there is some, it's communication between her and I to reconcile that.
When you do a reconciliation report
Mhm.
for a month, you show all the checks that haven't cleared and that.
Oh, I
paid
do,
before,
yeah, there's a whole.
and she can look at that and
She
tell
can look at
you.
that, and she will, every, few months, I send her, these are the outstanding checks, some of them are really old, and she'll send back, oh, I avoided that one.
Okay.
So
she has a list to work.
She does have, so the Board of Ed does their own separate QuickBooks company, and I approve, so that's why it looks a little different in QuickBooks. I just enter her ACH, her EFTs, and her check register balance to show. But she actually has all the separate checks right now. I don't enter that separately. I just get it registered from her, balance it. So that part is a little bit difficult. I mean, she's the board clerk there, and so.
A challenge.
Any other discussion? In favor of receiving reports with the additions.
Are we doing both? Together, is that what we
October,
decided?
November. Receive October, and November, yes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So now that, I checked the aspect of whether the missing could be,
There's a page.
so I get, like to suggest table. Receipt of it.
December.
Yes.
Someone,
Right, so move.
Text that I have here.
there's a second page that you usually get.
Yeah, one senior landscape.
I thought I printed that up, but maybe I didn't. Maybe
didn't.
I might get it.
That's, are you talking about the one for suspensions? And for
Is this-
refunds,
no, this-
because there were no refunds.
Well, there should be there should be the
Okay.
spreadsheet that has all of the.
Yeah, this is what I.
Prior
have.
year, current year. Okay,
Landscape.
all right, so Amy is moved, second
Second.
discussion. All in favor of tabling the task questions?
Aye.
With the Board of Ed for December, motion to receive, so moved.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Selectmen's report.
I'm gonna be brief and just hit those things as I was told by one of the selectmen from the late '90s. He said, just hit the stuff that has to do with money for the Board of Finance. But I'm gonna throw a few other things in because I can't help myself. We are working on a TRIPS grant application, preparing that for submission. Hopefully this second round will stand a chance of getting some money
And that's for,
for sidewalks we're looking. If you remember last year, Amy, we
Yep.
applied for it and we didn't make the cut. We're also applying and our cemetery section, Tracy Wilson, is working on the 2025 neglected cemeteries account grant program. That is a grant for $5,000 to work on town cemeteries. We have 5 town cemeteries that all need some work done in them, so it's a recurring grant.
Great.
Listen, I can't let this one go. All right, we had to name the snowplow events. All right, kindergartners, and I can say even Nikki Blass, the librarian, bought books about snowplows. So the 4 names, and unfortunately Tim isn't here. Michelle was there that day. They named the 4 snowplows, and they are now marked across the windshield, across the top. The Snowbreaker, the Blizzard Buster, Snowy the Snowplow, and the Ice Demolisher. It was really, really nice, and look at this as sort of a, no pun intended, a vehicle by which to get some of the students here involved in town government at a very basic level. They recognize those orange trucks and what they do, so on and so forth. So they can say, hey, no, the icebreaker went down, ice demolisher, I should say, went down my road and took care of my road so I could get to school. And they know all the drivers. So I think it went very, very well. What a 7 property lease update. We are still working on that. We have a letter of intent from Liz Ives, and we are working with our town attorney, Chip Back, in putting together a lease. And then we are going to, once that's completed, we'll set a date for a town hearing. Just to let you know, we'll jump down to Vision Zero, the automated traffic speed enforcement device. On Thursday, our DPW manager, Tim Downs, and I are meeting with the representatives from that via Zoom to set it up in town. What we're going to do is set it up in several different areas over a period of time to just collect data. It won't be handing out any tickets. From there, we'll decide whether or not it's something we should be investing in and looking at using. But I can tell you this morning from 7:05 to 7:30, and I apologize to Mark Burdick for sitting in his driveway, but observed the traffic coming off Route 126 over our feeder road, which is Johnson Road to Route 7. In that period of time, and I know this because I used to do this for a living, there was 52 cars, 52 vehicles. And just as an aside, no trucks went through, so that sign must be working to go through trucks. But no trucks went through. I can tell you from my experience, they were all traveling over the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. So again, we're going to take those devices and spread them around town and see where we can utilize them best.
That one is not functioning, by the way.
That doesn't take your speed. That just lets you know how fast you're going. We're waiting for a part.
I think Amy's saying that it's, oh yeah, it's definitely not.
No, it's not.
Displaying.
It's not capturing the first. I told Tim we have some Christmas lights. Christmas lights, they just put a number in there and project the second number. No, we're waiting for a part for that one. Capital plan. We talked about it. We'll set up the 21st for the commissions and committees, 6 p.m. So I'll get that out tomorrow to all of them. And there's only meeting with village gardeners, board of workshops, whole business. We've with our attorney, we've prepared a contract for 35 Railroad Street. Economic development on the 29th. There is it's held by the COG, an economic development symposium down in Winstead. Cobble Road.
Is anyone attending that?
And I reach out to anyone else who may want to.
Who is attending?
Judy.
Oh, great.
Judy is, and I'm going to try to go. I'm going to try to go. I think I will be able to do so.
And the contract on Railroad Street?
Contract on Railroad Street is prepared. It's getting ready to go out. Cobble Road, Culvert and Bridge, the 22nd, we will be meeting with the infrastructure committee and see how to move forward with that. We do have a report. We met with Cardinal Engineering on the 8th, and they gave us, if you remember, we had a study done on 6 bridges in town. They are all poor condition. This will be available at my office. I don't want to reproduce it and kill a bunch of trees. So, but we do have this available. If we look at doing this, and this is just giving you a quick thumbnail, this is nothing, numbers that we can be held to. This will cost us somewhere around $1 million.
All of the bridges.
All of the bridges. And the question would be, and if for another discussion, once we get through with infrastructure, is how do we want to do this? Do we want to do this one bridge at a time every 5 years? Do we want to take the big chunk and do it all at once? How do we want to do this? And then at least you're on if there's pros and cons to everything, John. Okay, if we do them little by little, we'll be paying money, and probably in the long run, we'll pay a little bit more because as time goes on, I don't think, and Steve, you know better than anyone, costs are not going to get any cheaper as we go along.
That's a good person.
If we do it all at once and we bond $1 million to do it, okay, we pay it off, but then we're then on, if Tim was here, he would tell you, we would be on a regular maintenance schedule where our DPW could take care of those little problems because they would all be brought up to a certain level. The oldest bridge of these was built in 1932. If I'm 1932, and the newest one was 1958.
Are any of them in danger of imminent failure?
This is not being flipped, John. What do you call imminent failure? Okay.
Like I'm driving over it and I feel
Like,
Okay.
like they're closed.
None of them are there. They're all in poor condition. Okay, by the state that they have.
Pages is it?
Excuse me?
How many pages is that?
With the fold outs and everything, about 25, 30.
Most of them are large culverts and it's just head walls or stuff, they need to be replaced.
I was just wondering, is the timing thing just a financial question? Or does it also, does access to different neighborhoods and parts of town also impact the decision about how many you do at once?
We would have to look at where they're located and how many we would do at once. I mean,
So location also is impacting your decision about timing?
and the thing is, again, I bring up, and I have a professional here to my right, so forgive me, okay? Because I'm not a professional in this area, and I'll be the first to admit it. But if we do them all at once, there will be alternate routes that people can take. It'll take a little bit longer, but there are alternate routes. We can bring them all up to the appreciable degree. And the other thing that I would say to you is the best analogy I can use for you is if we go with, let's say, one company to do all 6 of them. Anyone who's had their driveway paved or whatever, hey, the paver's in the neighborhood, he can do it for less because all the equipment is here.
And the manpower.
All right. And if we take it off in one big chunk, and I'm just putting that out there. If we do it all in one big chunk, what we can end up doing is probably getting it for a little bit less because the one company will have all the materials here. They'll store them all in one place. They'll be able to work on them. So, but this is something that down the road we seriously have to look at. And I can speak with some professionalism in this because I was at the Mianus River Bridge, and we all remember that. We're not quite there, but these are a lot smaller.
Can you scan that for us so that we can access it? Then you don't have to kill any trees, that somebody could just scan that into a report and send it to, if we want it, put it on the website? Or would you, I should say, not can you, would you?
I don't know if I can, I would.
Okay.
Some of the bigger documents here, I don't know how to scan in and so on and so forth, but
Now
we'll
this-
give it the college try.
Thank you.
This does not include the Cobble Road.
This does not include it. Now, Cobble Road,
The 7th one.
Cobble Road is separate. As you know, we have already, have Cardinal, doing the application for us for the bridge on Cobble Road, which will be paid for 100% by the federal government, but it's administrated through the state. Just a sidelight on that.
One other thing to
Oh, right.
remember on, these 6 bridges. This only gets them to a repaired state. It doesn't,
Correct.
it's not like we're getting brand new bridges and.
Right.
It'll get us probably another 20 to 25
5
years.
years. And again, these bridges with what we've done with them, and what our DPW has been able to do with them, I gotta tell you, they've gone a long way. They've certainly gone beyond what their life would be in some other municipality. But again, we'll talk about that at length at a later date. ARPA funds, we had $3,631.33 left in ARPA. We had a meeting on the 31st, December 31st of the Board of Selectmen. And we earmarked that money for infrastructure, in particular for the 35 Railroad Street project, which already was being funded by ARPA. So that was money was put in there. We sent out, as Ginger had mentioned, the letter to the boards, commissions, and departments regarding the budget. We're looking at February 20th as having everything back. So hopefully a little bit earlier, we'll be able to start our work, the Board of Selectmen, on next year's budget. I'm going to let Michelle talk a little bit about direct deposit, the paychecks. Michelle,
Sure. Yeah, I can talk about it now or when you go through it, whatever you guys want.
When we're on the agenda, I think.
Uh-huh.
When
Oh,
we're on
yeah,
the agenda.
we have it on the agenda.
Oh,
We'll just-
whatever you want.
we'll just wait for that.
okay, all right. That was part of my report. And we're looking at the daycare water testing, looking at a different company to do it over there, it would save us some money. But the Board of Selectmen have to do their due diligence and look at what both companies do and make sure we're comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. And that's all I have.
Dave, allocating $6,000 of our funds to 35 Railroad for an as-is sale, why would we do that?
It was 3,600.
Oh, 36.
I'm sorry.
Missed the three.
Okay, 3,600. What we did was, that had been earmarked before, and that's primarily for the easement and having that done. So no matter whatever happens down there, whether the sale goes through, and we're very hopeful the sale goes through, at least it secures that easement, which has been something that's been hanging out there for a number of years. So it settles that between the inn and the town. And again, as for some bills and so forth that will be generated from that.
So when you look at the ARPA funds, it falls under economic development category.
Infrastructure.
For those funds, infrastructure.
And the reason we use that is because it was already set up. If you go back in the minutes of
Yeah.
the meetings, 35 Railroad Street, that entire project was funded by ARPA. So it just seemed like a natural thing to roll those extra monies over into that, to make sure we don't incur any expenses outside of 35 Railroad Street and outside of the ARPA funds. And I think we still have $245, Michelle, or something, 248.
Thank you, allocated it all, because
Okay.
it should be by December 31st.
All right. No, I mean, in the 35 Railroad Street.
254 or something.
Right.
I thought you meant.
No, we're all set with it. Oh, no, we should. We're not giving any money back to anyone. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Old business. I still had scheduled meetings and boards and commissions, and I think we were ready to wrap that up unless there was something else, somebody else we wanted to meet with. All right, no action there. I have not done anything else with policies. Got to my holiday.
That's good. Everyone just got through the holiday.
Two comes. Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe in February, if we're good, let's see where our audit falls, because I think the audit's the highest priority. Maybe we can do a meeting, a special meeting, just to look at some policies. And some options, which ones we pull together. I have a short list of some that are ready, that I've pulled information on, and then if we want to do anything more. So we'll take it back to look for something in February. And then just an update on the capital plan, which you've heard a few times here. We're gonna continue. I had a good discussion with Dave and the different town departments. We talked a little bit about what their budget encompasses, what their to think about their future and what they might need for capital. Be able to put together a plan for, we're not gonna have one for this coming fiscal, but I think we can certainly start developing. But the plan is gonna supplement what we already have in reserves. So that we have a plan going forward for the next however many 5, 10 years, however far out we want to go with it. But I did also speak briefly for the budget purposes with Michelle and asked her to kind of look at your descriptions on the budget that we get after now looking at 2 years worth of it, realizing that it needs to be a little more clearer, I guess I will use the term, in what each line is for. I think they're great. They have good, having all the detailed lines is very helpful. But I think things have changed, and after talking and hearing from the different boards, commissions, and others, we're realizing that there's more the detail has to change a little bit, because we've changed.
This will be in the proposal that comes to us.
Yeah. So that was a suggestion I asked to try to look at.
Since you're on that topic, I don't know, I can't recall if we have formally asked the Board of Ed to get us a budget by a certain date. I think we did that last year, and that would come from you.
Okay.
So that we have plenty of time to hear from them and review it. And also they were kind enough to let us know, and it's on the website normally, but it's great to know when their workshops are so that you can just zoom in and listen. It's very interesting to hear how they approach different parts of the process. So Board of Ed budget, we don't want to
Don't let that.
get too late. Yeah, we need to have it. We should think about when you want it to be presented. And, I guess you have an idea of when you want the town budget presented.
If they're only getting anything in February, we're
We're on track.
We're on track. We're doing.
For Board of Ed, you just have to figure out, because you don't want to see them both at the same time. It's a long night.
We'll add that to the February agenda. That's good. We'll kind of look at the dates from that. The other old business. Any suspense items? New business. 10A.
So I'd like to make a motion to increase line 2210-GR-920 by $5,500 and the line 1010-GR-452 for the same amount to reflect the town clerk grant that was received and will be spent down on.
A second. I took the easy side.
Any discussion? What's this grant? What is the grant specifically for?
So the grant is something that Joanna applies for every year for renovations and all of this stuff, all of the record keeping. Each year she applies, historically she's gotten it, but we didn't depend on.
But if it doesn't get used fully, do you have to return it or?
You do, she uses it.
No, but you would have to return it.
We would have to
Okay, all right.
Trust me, we
In
should.
order to get another one, is what I'm saying. Okay.
She does.
Okay.
Last year it was down to binders to her record, to
Okay.
make sure that we used it all.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very good about using it all, right down to the penny, actually.
I appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Discussions? All those in favor? Opposed? None. That passes. Second one, we have 10B.
I'll make another motion to increase line 2410-951 by $6,000 and line 1014-EV-105 at the same amount to reflect a grant received for the registrar of voters lines, expense and revenue.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the last was
That's the $300 or something.
I'll entertain a motion to add a new budget line for the treasurer for bank fees. the line being 1010 by -502. For $300, it was, the offset would be the general fund appropriation.
So moved.
Michelle, discussion.
Yeah,
Explain
yeah.
what you're gonna use this for.
So I'm gonna use this, to offer direct deposit to our employees. It just seems like it's something that's a good benefit for everybody, a lot easier, it's gonna save us money on checks. I'm asking to put money in that line, it might offset with the checks, I'm not really sure, I have to see how it all comes out, depending on how many people.
So you have to pay for that service then?
Yes.
Okay.
It's $25 a month and then $50 start out.
So you don't need to pay per employee.
No, it's a monthly fee.
That's.
So does everybody have to be, my question is it worth it if everybody doesn't want to be direct deposit?
I-
That's,
I'll officially tell you that.
everybody
most
wants,
people-
okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
But yeah, most people, I did pull the
So it doesn't change based on how many
No.
you put in.
$25 a month for
Okay.
the service.
It's a lot of checks.
It is actually by the time you get rid of,
Yeah.
all employees.
So it's not just checks, but time.
Yeah,
Yeah, right on everybody's side of.
and any,
This is
Yep,
just
printer ink.
payroll.
just payroll.
Okay, I'd like
It is the same way that Cindy does it through the Board of Ed.
Okay,
Across the board, so.
so we have to, okay, so we made the motion, now we're discussing.
Yeah, it just starts to, right, that'll be.
Lifeguards too?
I don't know how.
So every town employee,
Stuff that we didn't have.
every town employee except the Board of Education, right?
Well, the Board of Education already has direct.
That's what, yeah, so it's everybody but, okay. I know what you meant by that.
Listen, as I said, we're finally moving into.
Any further
the
discussion?
century. Not quite 21st, but we're in the 20th.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, who made the motion and said I made it? You did. Did somebody second?
Well, no, I said, I made the motion, she read it, I said it, he seconded.
Either Steve or
that's
I
right.
seconded.
Any other business?
Mm-mm.
Public comment?
How about that? Anybody there? No?
Motion, I move to the adjourn.
Second.
All
All
right,
in favor?
aye. Thank you very much. It is. Thank you very much.
Who seconded what?
Yeah.